everyone, to our Groundskeeper Chat series. I am your host, Meg Kruger. I'm coming live to you from Louisville, Kentucky at the Professional Grounds Management Society annual show. And I am joined by Jeff McManus. He is with the University of Texas.
That's right.
Look at that. I was telling all the guests earlier today, I was like, I'm going to let you introduce yourself because I get it right about 1 out of 10 times.
Yeah, Jeff McManus. I was at Ole Miss for 25 years as the landscaping director there, and got a great offer to go to University of Texas, so I'm now the executive director of grounds and landscaping.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And so our first question is always your turf origin story. Because, how does this come on someone's radar? And then how do they take that plunge to make this a career when oftentimes there's not a ton of people that you can look to and be like, oh, I see someone's entire career. I know that I can emulate that, because in a lot of ways we're like magic elves working in the background. So it's hard to, envision your career when you don't even know that some of these jobs exist. So tell us that story, how that was for you.
Well, you're correct in that my whole career has been in grounds and landscaping at large, high-end, large-scale properties. And, of course, I didn't know that type of job existed back when I was younger. I always thought I was going to go work on computers somewhere, so I took a computer class, failed the class, hated it, dropped out of the class. So I shifted over to marketing. Okay. That was great until I took marketing and failed it. And I was like, man, this is not going well. And happened to take a class in horticulture on evergreens. My brother owned a garden center and nursery, and I wanted to learn a few plant names because I thought I would work there in the summertime. Okay. And ended up really liking it, changed my major, added another 2 years to my schooling, but really glad I did it. Okay. And so
And where did you go to school?
I went to Auburn University.
Okay, so not bad to add some years there. That's a pretty good experience.
I crammed 4 years into 6, so it was fun.
I love it. I love it. And I will say, from the people I talked to here today and then the other PGMS show we did, a lot of them were brought into the industry by someone in their family, whether it be because they owned a nursery or they themselves were in grounds. And that's not typical at all for sports field managers. So that is a little bit different than what we typically hear on the podcast. So that's very interesting. I think if you wrap it around, put it in front of your mic. There you go. Much better.
Yeah. So that's my dad had me on a Massey Ferguson 135 tractor early in my life. So by 10 years old, I was driving it on our property and doing things with chainsaws on Saturdays. And I mean, he just had us and so much working that I really did not want to do that for a living. Okay. Right? But I ended up finding out that, hey, there are really good jobs. I don't have to do the actual physical part all the time. Yep. Now I crave it. It's the therapy now. I want to do the physical part.
I love it.
I'd love to sit on a piece of equipment all day and not have to answer or make a bunch of decisions.
Yeah, an email or phone call.
Exactly.
I love that. And so we're here at the conference. We just attended the Grow Forum, and there were a few topics with that. It was retention, recruiting, mentorship, and what's the one I'm missing?
You said,
recruiting, retention, mentorship.
Oh, it was...
I feel like it was another R. We're sorry to whoever's topic this was. It was Warren's topic, maybe?
I was thinking it was Warren's topic, and he was the last one for me. So I can look in our app here and find it real quick.
It was the last one for you. So rightfully so. It was probably about an hour after that chicken parm set in.
Oh, man. We were very lethargic at that point.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, and they don't even list them here.
No worries. We'll have to put it in the description here, but they were great. But which one of those really resonated with you? Did you get anything from any of those topics that, even though you've been with the same industry and in the same, role for a while, coming to shows like this, does it revitalize or refuel by just being able to hear other people's challenges or other people's passion for the gig?
I tell you what excited me, because I've been in the industry for so long, is to lean in and to listen to to the people who are just in the industry for a few years or so, or just starting in the industry. It's good to hear what they're saying, what drove them to the industry, what were they attracted to. And I heard from one of the young gentlemen in our group that it was a purposeful career decision for him.
That. Yeah.
And so there's a lot that you can do with the environment. There's a lot of, you're stewards of the environment, but yet you're also creating aesthetically beautiful grounds and things. So it was fun to hear that, and to hear. I try not to talk during the sessions because I've been here so long and I've done this. I speak on it, and so I want to hear what people are excited about.
Yeah.
The last one that we couldn't remember was training.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Which really encapsulates what we're all doing here this week. So
that's right.
Very cool. And I like that you said purpose, that you pulled from that, because I always describe, this industry as these people have a ton of pride, they have a ton of passion, but that's so true. That's right in line with all that, the purpose of the gig as well.
That's right. And we're not great about communicating that. And so I think if we realize that's important for the younger generation, that's important even for the older generation. We just didn't express it like the younger generations are. And so if we message that with our staff about what we actually do if you're on a college campus, is we're helping recruiting, because 62% of prospective students make a decision in the first few minutes if they're coming to a college campus.
1,000%.
And so what we're really doing is, if that person comes and they say, hey, I love the feeling of this campus, I feel at home here, that person goes on and gets their doctorate, research and cures cancer. I think in a very small way, we helped in the process of curing cancer. I mean, we didn't do the legwork, but we got them there. We recruited them to that university. So I like to tell the story of whoever has graduated at our university. Maybe in a small way, we're helping with their purpose.
100%.
Yes.
Well, and just overall, landscape and grounds and all of the facets that fit into it really serve as the backdrop for our entire lives. You think about every memorable experience that you look back on, and most of the time it's set on a backdrop that somebody else kind of set the stage for. Yeah. I think about my day-to-day life these days, and a lot of where my movie is playing out is on playgrounds or parks or little league athletic fields, and how that's going to formulate so many of my kids' memories, but also mine in the process. And I'll say, like, when I was touring colleges in high school, I remember I saw the first two in fall, at the end of fall. So it was cold, windy, raining, and it was in Ohio. So there wasn't a ton of, green, or it was just kind of dull. And it was really hard to picture yourself having a happy experience in that setting. I'll say I went to another school in Cleveland, Ohio in the springtime. It was like a last ditch effort. Like, am I going to, go here? And it was green. It was, bright outside. It was beautiful. And I will tell you, in those first few moments, it was like, okay, I can envision myself here because of that beauty that was taking place.
That's right.
So cool. The one thing I wanted to make sure we got to cover is your Breakfast of Champions topic. How did that come about? Where did you formulate, because Vince was telling me that you are one heck of a motivational speaker. So how do you go from ground sky to having, like something to share at events like this, and that people look to you for some of that inspiration?
Well, I think each one of us are tooled a little different. We've all been given a unique personality. We've been given unique gifts. And I think what you find is what you're good at and how you lean into it to help get the job done. So for me, and most of leaders, we know we can't do the job by ourselves. Yeah. We need other people. And then I heard someone talk on this before. Are they wired? Or do they thrive, or do we have to motivate them? Right? Are they wired to do it, or are they do they have it inside? Like they're excited to be there. They want to be there. You don't ever have to motivate them.
Yeah.
Versus you're trying to always inspire them, trying to motivate them. Come on, guys, here we go. So my whole thing is trying to find people who are wired, who love to be there, who do it.
Yeah.
And so you don't always get that, right? Not in, especially if you're working with a state, and sometimes we don't attract the top because we don't pay top. And so sometimes us as leaders, even if you do attract the top, you got to learn how to lead other leaders.
Yeah.
And then I always found that I wasn't able to hire the best, so I had to cultivate them to be the best.
Yeah, I love that.
So I always talk about growing weeders into leaders, right? Changing the mindset. And so I leaned into one of my uniqueness parts of me, which is personal growth. I love personal growth. I embody it. I just love it. I read a lot. I listen to podcasts. I'm always doing something like that. So I leaned into that. I've taken my guys to the local library, shown them how to check out audiobooks. Why? Because I want them to grow themselves, not Jeff grow them. And then lean into videos that are out there today so that they're inspired. What is their purpose? Why are they doing this? What's the bigger picture? They're taking care of their families. They're taking care of people coming. So trying to tap into that inner belief so that I can get the actions and get the results that I need. When you get somebody there who's only there for a paycheck and a pension, it's much harder than if they're there for a passion and a purpose.
Definitely. Yeah. And PGMS really, goes hand in hand with that personal growth. Your boss or your organization could say, hey, we want you to do that extra, higher, keep that continuing education or building a network. But really, it's so much more than that when you're involved in associations or societies like this. What have you really pulled from being involved in groups like this in that personal growth journey?
Well, the great part about being in PGMS that we don't ever talk about is how much money it saves you from making dumb mistakes.
I love it. You're right. Nobody has mentioned that yet today. But that's 100%.
But I have so many colleagues across the country that I can call or tap into, and they've either done it or, are looking at it. And so it just saves me so much time.
Yep.
Like who's got a trash program or who's gone ahead, who's done the sweeper truck or who's used this. And because that network, that valuable network of people in the industry, it is just invaluable. So I'll, this works great. This is how we're using it. And not come into the industry thinking you know it all.
Yeah.
Or you're the professional. And so many times, so many of our industry leaders operate in an island. They're just worried about their property and just doing that, and they're not giving back to the industry. So speaking is part of me giving back. Writing is part of giving back, but sharing, because you want to see the culture continue to grow.
Yes.
You want to just like it in your own property. You want to get people that they can do your job so that you can move up. Because when the ceiling is low, everybody's going to stop growing because they're not going to outgrow you most of the time as the leader. You got to keep pushing yourself so that you keep expanding. And so that's one of the big challenges for me, to come here and not think I know it all because I've been in the industry so long, but listen to the young people.
And so tomorrow, what do you hope is some of those takeaways that, people walk away from not only just being here at PGMS, but your session, your individual session?
Well, what I heard today, like we listened to some of the speakers today, and I come away with things that maybe I've thought of that I want to do, but wasn't sure how to do it. And that's what I heard today with some of our speakers. Some of them have already done it.
Yep.
And so I'm like, okay, that's a resource for me now. I'm going to reach out to Utah State University and talk to them. They have the template.
What was the gentleman's name that did that? Because sorry, put you on the spot again. Because everyone keeps mentioning his session. So I myself need to go and follow up on that one. I'm the worst. I apologize.
Okay. His topic was numbers are the universal language.
Okay, yes.
And so he spoke this morning at 10:30, and that was Shane Richards.
I was going to say Shane. Okay.
Shane's the landscape manager at Utah State University. Great topic. Shane has figured out how to crack the code on how to talk to engineers and accountants. Well, who are our jobs? Most landscapers in higher education are answering to an engineer. Oh, and then that engineer usually answers to a controller or comptroller, which is an accounting person.
Yeah.
And so they speak numbers, they speak linear. And so he's got a template now on how he's gone out, he's done the work, he's measured his property, and he uses that. He's like, what's this piece of equipment allow us to be more efficient? Labor numbers, actual labor numbers. If we buy this piece of equipment, we can do it this fast.
Yeah.
But if we go cheaper, then it's going to cost us actually in the long run more labor. And so I was like, yeah, that's the way to approach it. Now I've been in here, I've been doing this for a long time, and I have a lot of credibility with my bosses. But Shane just took that to a whole new level.
I love it.
Right? And so he explained it, showed it how he's doing it. And one of the questions I ask him when he does presentations to his bosses, does he use a PowerPoint? He says every time, visual.
Yeah.
He's put together some pretty cool bump videos, some motivational videos.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
It's all about speaking their language and knowing what that audience is, what's going to resonate with them.
Yeah.
And, you can get to the table, you can earn that seat at the table because of how long you've been in the position or something some skill you provide they're in need of. But once you're at the table, if you fail to speak their language, they may never invite you back to the table.
Right.
So coming to the table with those data, that figure, and I always frame it kind of, I have one boss that I believe he likes to be spoken to in story form. He wants you to paint that picture. He wants to be able to visualize it. And I guess that would be a better word for it. He's more of a visual learner. So he wants to be able to visualize that end goal. So bring him along, tell the story, really give him all of those, touch points almost that you're going to get there. But then I have another boss that it's like, he'll call BS on that immediately and say, tell me how much this is going to cost and how much we're gonna get from it in the end. Yeah. So knowing what table you're at and what language to speak once you're there is one of those personal growth things that's not being taught to kids in college.
No.
And it's really learning on the job, but also taking it a step further. And like you said, reading the books, listening to the podcasts, all the things like that. Right. And I will tell you, the Groundskeeper Chat serves as a second. We're Groundskeeper Chat first for groundskeepers, but then we're also a book club. So I have to ask you, because you mentioned books, what kind of books have you over the years felt like gave you that tipping point where you're like, reading that book really changed how I see things or how I, conduct myself as a leader? Do you have any that you could recommend?
Well, it's going to be hard because you just asked me for one, so I'll give you a couple. I'm a leadership nerd.
Okay.
I love speaking on leadership. I love reading on leadership. And so I follow a lot of leadership gurus on podcast. One of the top ones that I've used so many times is John Maxwell.
Okay.
Very, very good. John Maxwell's written over 80 books.
Okay, wow, yeah.
Probably one of the biggest ones that we used in our team was the 17 Essential Qualities of a Team Player.
Yeah, I can literally see the cover.
Yeah. And then we also did 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That was his first big breakthrough.
Okay.
Another great book that did was the Navy SEAL books. I mean, what Navy SEAL doesn't have a book out, but Jocko, the Extreme Ownership.
Okay.
That one will push you to the limit on how you think, because Jocko do not accept any type of victimhood.
Okay. Yeah.
It's all about taking responsibility.
I love it. Yeah.
And it's very challenging, but those are good. There's several other ones, but now I have actually I've bought enough books to give to my staff, and some read it, some don't, but we'll go through it meticulously to pull out things to how it helps build our culture in the landscaping department. We follow a lot of what Chick-fil-A does in the service industry. So Truett Cathy has a lot of books out as well, but I know quite a few owner-operators, and I get to tap into some of their leadership training things that they have. So they're all about serving. So those is good too.
I love it. No, and those, Paula Sleifert was talking earlier, hers that she recently was reading from was the let them theory.
Okay.
And how much she's had to lean into that in the past couple of years. And I thought that was a good one. And, I always talk about historical fiction on here, which you may not think you could learn a lot from it, but you can go back and read about history in a fun way and be like, wow, we shouldn't do that again.
That's right. I mean, one of my favorite podcasts is Founders. And it's all about the guy reads books on people like Henry Ford, Steve Jobs, and then
very cool.
For an hour he talks about what was in that book.
Very cool.
And since I'm not going to get to read as many books as I want, when I'm in the car, I'm going to listen to those podcasts. So I get to hear what
Founders.
Henry Ford.
Okay, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it's good.
I used to love the Guy Raz, How I Built This podcast. That one was amazing.
Is he still on?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that was like an NPR one. He was like one of the first podcasters that was, I remember listening to him back in like 2018 when I didn't realize podcasts were a thing.
Yeah.
Now everyone and their grandma has podcasts.
Everybody.
Truly. But very cool. I love that. And, especially when this career, I don't want to say that it's prone to burnout, but you could find yourself on that path very easily. If you have your head in the sand focusing on the day-to-day tasks, because they are daunting at times, it could be very easy to keep drilling forward into the sand and find yourself in the depths of some burnout situations that you're not sure how to claw your way out of. But I just would stress to anyone listening that the personal growth, the things outside of the gig that still allow you to grow as a professional are those things that, rejuvenate you, refuel you so you can come back to the gig as a better person.
No doubt. The great thing about our industry is we already know how to grow plants. We know how to grow turf. And what you're saying is if you manage a property, if you like I'm at University of Texas, over a period of time, you're dealing with almost every season the same challenge. And that can, if you don't have a lot of new installs going in and it's just maintenance, you're edging every day, you're mowing every day, you're spraying every day. After a while, that can be a little monotonous and it can get a little stale. So the exciting part is as you're growing, take those same principles and grow your team. So like, how are they getting watered? How are you breaking up the hard pans in their day and helping them reseed new thoughts? And so one of the things that and I'm going to share this tomorrow in the Breakfast of Champions is that I take small groups and put them all in a van and we drive somewhere else, somewhere in town. So we drove to the state capitol. We've gone to the Domain, which is a mall. We've gone down to the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center. Little small groups. Why? Because I can invest in those people. We can talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of other properties. We can criticize the other property without anybody's feelings being hurt. We can talk about the good things that we're seeing that I'm trying to inspire my staff to do without being mean to them and saying, look, y'all need to use stick edgers and stop using the weed eater as an edger. Look at the edge. And one of my guys was like, oh, that's you want like a credit card slit down there when we edge. Yes, I don't want a 1 to 2 inch weed eated edge, And they said they're even bigger than that before I got there. So it's like the visuals help. They go, oh, Jeff is investing in us. He did that. And so and at Ole Miss, I took all my staff to other SEC schools, and not everybody, but my leaders. I went to Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, Vanderbilt, Kentucky. We went to a lot of places because we were trying to get a look. We were trying to get a look. Some schools got the look, some schools didn't. So we use that as an illustration. But there's no reason, like we literally walked across the street to the state capitol and looked at the good, looked at that. And our staff were like, oh, that's what you mean. Now here's one that I never thought about this until at Texas. Our staff are zoned. So this person is going to go to this zone on the campus almost every single day. So one of our zones is LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson Library.
Okay.
And so that group goes right there every day. I don't. I go all over the campus.
Yeah.
So what do I do? Only thing I have to do with that person, that lead, is take him to another zone on campus.
Yeah, yeah.
All of a sudden, we're on a field trip.
Yeah.
Because they were not understanding the mowing. They weren't doing it. They weren't edging right. They were scalping around light poles. And my other crew that was around the main tower, they were getting it. They were embracing it. And when we went over there and I took the LBJ guys over there, and he goes, "Oh,
yeah,
that's what you want. You want a 90 degree." I'm like, "Yes."
I love it.
But what did that cost me? 30 minutes of time.
Yeah.
But it was the visual. And what I need to change is his belief. I don't want him to be afraid that he's like, "Oh, I'm the only reason I'm changing is because Jeff's going to write me up," or whatever.
Yeah.
You want him to change because you see the high quality where we're going. We're
need
going
that
to this
buy-in.
level. Yeah,
you need that buy-in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, I heard it a little bit in this session, the retention conversation. And I think buy-in obviously goes hand in hand with retention. And, you can train somebody, and it does feel like a big endeavor to train somebody and invest in them as an employee for them potentially to leave. But if you also don't have them buying in right from the get-go, then you might as well be prepared to start that process over again and again and again.
Right.
So what are some things that you have found to be successful with getting employees to buy in? I can imagine investing in them and giving them that time as the leader helps a ton. But is there anything else that you can speak to?
Well, there's the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Yeah.
But what you can do is try to make the horse really thirsty.
Okay.
Okay. So you want that horse so thirsty that he wants to drink. And so that's my philosophy, in that I want to try to get people to drink from personal growth, develop them, grow them. So I have to be willing to invest in them.
Yeah.
So I have 105 people on my staff.
Wow. Okay.
And so at Ole Miss, I had 35 to 40, depending on the season. And so a lot more people. But I do a thing called leader to leader, L2L, leader to leader. And once a month, we bring in a small group of people, from 5 to 10 people, into the conference room. And we'll typically watch a video of something. And the reason we do that is so that we want to have discussion about that video. And my whole job is to get them to think and talk about leadership, teamwork, self-development, personal growth. So this last one we just watched was on Kobe Bryant. And Kobe was a famous NBA player, basketball player. It was an 11-minute video. We watched it. He talked nothing about landscaping.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But he talked about being a student of the game.
Yeah.
When Kobe came in, he came directly out of high school, and he came into the NBA, and he was watching the Michael Jordans, the Magics, the Birds, and he was asking, can I be at that level?
Yeah.
Okay, so where does that, they're listening to this, the video's over, and here's my one job during the whole thing is to get them to talk about the video. Yeah. So the only really, I've got them, to talk ahead of time. Like, we go around the room, we just introduce ourselves, that kind of stuff. So it's we do a little icebreaker to get them used to talking. We watch the video, and then I ask this one question. What was your takeaway? Or what was a takeaway? Yeah. What's something you got from the video? And once one person answers, I say, excellent job, great. Yeah. I don't care what it was. Okay, you're out of the game. Because you'll have one person dominate the group. Yep. Yeah. They'll talk the whole time. So now they're out. Now, okay, what was another takeaway? And I don't look at anybody. Yeah. I just okay, everybody's playing, but everybody's got to go. It's a lot easier if you go first, because then everybody else copies you. And I have never had people not participate. Now, I've had some people who speak Spanish or don't, and I've had a couple of deaf people who don't speak. Well, they don't have to, you just go through that. It's not like everybody has to. But the big takeaway is that everybody's putting these things out there, and I'm writing them on the board. I've got a mark, and I say, look, we don't count off for spelling, so if I don't spell well, that's okay. We're just putting it up here. And so when we get through, usually everybody's gone at least once. Everybody goes once. I say, okay, everybody get back in again. And we're getting all these things. There's 10 or 12 things up on that board.
Yeah.
And then I may ask the next question is, how does any of this apply to landscaping? And it's amazing to hear how they connect the dots.
Connections, yeah.
Because Kobe goes, he wanted to climb Goat Mountain, which was the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Where the Michael Jordans were. And so I go, does this apply to us? Or can we climb Goat Mountain? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, how?
I love it, yeah.
Right? So you're getting them to lean into it. Now, do they come to work 2 hours early and practice edging like Kobe used to? No, they don't do that. But at the same time, they're not sitting around goofing around as much, and they're bought in.
Yeah.
So that's how we're trying to.
I love it.
One of the ways we try to embrace and plant. Again, go back to your horticulture. If I don't plant the positive in them, what's going to grow? Because nature doesn't keep a vacuum. Something's going to grow.
Yeah.
And usually it's weeds. And so, but I want to start planting the Kobe's into their lives.
I love it.
I'm going to plant this video into their life. I want to keep planting and watering it. And I've seen amazing results. I've seen it'll change the culture of your group in a positive, where you have this draminator, this person who caused a lot of drama. They'll self-check out because they don't like that.
Yeah.
Because people aren't going to them anymore.
Yeah.
And so
I've never heard that term before. Draminator.
The draminator. Thinking about that for my next book is the draminator.
Coin that term. I love it.
Yeah. I know I heard it from somebody else.
That's amazing. That is great advice, though, and I love it. And again, doesn't cost you a ton of time. It's not like you're sending anybody, away. It's right there on the job, but it's just that investment of time and wanting to buy into those employees. I love it. Great advice.
What I find that people don't, there's two things I've told people that they'll tell me, oh, we don't have time for that. Well, of course you don't, because you don't value it.
Yeah.
But I value changing the culture, because if I slow down, I will actually speed up.
Yeah.
If I can create 105 Jeffs out there who love their job and who are passionate, I'm going to speed up. I'm going to be more efficient. I'm going to have better buy-in. I knew we were breaking through at Texas when one of our guys go, hey, when are we doing leader to leader?
Oh,
That's
I love it.
one of my favorite things.
I love it, yeah.
I look forward to that. And I was like, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
I love it. That is wonderful. Well, thank you so much, sir, for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you can see that it wasn't too painful.
Oh, glad to do it. Thanks for doing it for the industry. And
of course.
And thanks for taking the time away from your family to come and do this. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate that. I do, truly. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.